Hi everyone, this is Manish, and in this video I'm going to discuss about the SCCM Co-management feature. Nowadays the organizations which are trying to move away from the on-premises to the cloud approach, they wanted to utilize the Intune. So this is a good initiative that the co-management should be used so that they can go slow and steadily to the Intune by using the workload feature. So just to make this topic easy to understand, I had divided into multiple chunks. So the topics what I'm going to cover is that what exactly is the co-management and what are the benefits, and then we'll be walking through the co-management feature which will require you to go through various prerequisites. There are few certain things which should be in place before you need to implement the co-management. In that demo is going to cover about multiple things. For example, I'm going to show you that what kind of SCCM client settings you have to configure before starting it, and we have to prepare the few SCCM collections also which will be required for the SCCM co-management collections. And finally we'll be going through the cloud attach configuration which is responsible for configuring the co-management. Let's first start what exactly is the co-management. Co-managing the device between the authorities like SCCM and Intune at the same time is called co-management. When I talk about the co-manage, it does not mean always that at the same time both SCCM and Intune can manage that device at the same time. So you need to understand. To understand this, there are few workloads which will be solely dependent upon one specific workload at one time, means Intune will take over the SCCM, and while at other times what will happen that SCCM and Intune both will be able to manage the device at the same time. For example, client app is one of that feature, means when you enable the client app workload via Intune, SCCM can still take control of that. But more I am going to cover later once we go through that configuration. In other words, what I can say about co-management is it's a cloud attach feature. So you are able to get the benefit of both the worlds. I mean to say Intune and SCCM. This SCCM co-management feature allows you to perform two tasks. It can help you enrolling the device, but also managing the workload. Once your workload are configured, it's easy for you to plan this strategy to migrate each and every workload from SCCM to Intune. Let's try to understand in detail about the benefits of co-management. As I told you, the very first benefit is what I can say is about your migration strategy becomes easy. Overall, this co-management is a feature of a cloud attach. Means cloud attach configuration in SCCM console is responsible for you to configure the SCCM co-management feature. So this cloud attach itself is not just related to co-management. Cloud attach includes three things. One is tenant attach, one is endpoint analytics, one is co-management. But you should not be confused with all these three topics. The focus on this video is related purely upon the co-management, but I can simply tell you about a few basics about the tenant attach. If you are doing a tenant attach, you are actually not enrolling the device. What actually you are doing is that all the devices in your tenant means all the devices which you have in SCCM, it can be uploaded to the Intune to be viewed in the Intune console. When you view in Intune console, you can take few actions what you used to take from the SCCM. For example, initiating the machine policies and other settings, what you used to do in SCCM. So that specific feature is called for the tenant attach. I'm not too much focused upon that thing. In my next video, I'm going to focus more upon what exactly SCCM co-management and tenant attach, cloud attach, differentiating all those things. But here, focus only on the co-management, which is purely related to the specifying the workload and enrolling the device. The benefit, as I told you, the co-management can enroll the device. The good thing is you can enroll the device in a phased manner. Means you have to create an SCCM collection, slow and steadily start adding those devices into that collection, and the device will start enrolling. Though the enrollment of device can happen via group policy also, but why not use SCCM if SCCM is already there? Because when you combine with the workload, you get a lot of advantages. And finally, when the workload is configured, we will be seeing that the kind of benefits we are going to get by moving one from another. As I told you, that workload really helps us migrating from SCCM to Intune. But you might not be having an idea that what exactly I'm repeating this workload a lot if you don't have any idea. So think about it. You can see on the screen that I have mentioned the workloads like compliance policy, device configuration, endpoint protection, resource access, client app, Windows update. A lot of workloads are there. So just before jumping to the workload, think about what exactly SCCM is used for. When I'm talking about SCCM, the very first thing comes into my mind is that I'm trying to deploy application. I'm trying to push the quality updates, community updates, feature update, task sequence, OSD, a lot of things I'm trying to do. Even I'm trying to use the baseline configuration items for the monitoring of the compliance policies. So if I can do the same thing in the Intune, there would be a day that I don't require the SCCM. But am I ready? Is my organization ready for the day one to start using the Intune and to switch off the SCCM box, SCCM servers? No. If that's not the case, why not have a strategy that configure the co-management? Your devices will be enrolled to Intune and pick one thing at one time. Let's see, I'm just randomly picking the example of Windows update policies. Your co-management is done and you wanted to deploy the patches via Intune. So let's move the workload for that device to Intune. Now the updates will start coming from Intune only and SCCM will no longer be handling the patches. Similarly, now let's speak about the client app. You apply the workload for the client app. Now you have the ability to start deploying the packages via Intune. But client app also gives the ability that you can still deploy the patches. You can still deploy the packages via SCCM as well. But you need to start planning that not to create new deployments in the SCCM so that Intune will take over. Similarly, think about the device configuration. See, when we are thinking about the SCCM, moving from SCCM to Intune, I think we are also trying to move from the group policy to the Intune policies. When I say Intune policy, all these things are called the configuration profiles, MDM policies. So we also need to have ability to start creating the MDM policies in Intune. If you want to apply the MDM policies, you need to apply this workload device configuration. And the beauty of this device configuration workload is the moment you apply this workload, your group policies will still be intact. So you will be having benefit of both the worlds. You can start utilizing the MDM policies apart from existing group policy. And slow and steadily, you can start thinking about whether you wanted to completely get rid of the group policies or slow and steadily wanted to reduce the group policy, or eventually go with the enter ID approach. Complete enter ID approach means not having the hybrid approach. So there are so many things which you can do with the combination. Let's move to the next topic now. There are a few prerequisites for the SCCM co-management. Before eventually jumping to the prerequisites, I'm making an assumption that these things are already in place. Your device are domain joined. When I'm talking about the SCCM infrastructure, I'm assuming the device is domain joined. When the devices are domain joined and you wanted to utilize the Intune, the very first thing is you wanted those devices to be joined to enter ID. So for on-premises devices to join to enter ID, you also need to have devices joined to the Microsoft Enter ID, because when you are trying to enroll devices to Intune, you need to join to Microsoft Enter ID also. But for domain joined devices, the term is different. We will say Microsoft Entra Hybrid Join. So in a nutshell, I can say Microsoft Entra Hybrid Join is equal to domain join plus Microsoft Entra ID join. So it means if you are joined to both the services, means the on-premises infrastructure and to the Entra ID, then it will be called Microsoft Hybrid Join. But for Microsoft Entra Hybrid Join, you need to have a Microsoft Entra connector. So I'm assuming that Microsoft Entra connector is already there and it is syncing the devices so that your devices are getting Microsoft Entra Hybrid Join. If these things are in place and if you have Intune license along with the Microsoft Entra ID P1, P2 license, and automatic enrollment is also enabled, that is also the requirement. If these things are there, then we can say yes, now we can move to the SCCM co-management. So let's move to the SCCM co-management actual prerequisites. When I'm talking about the prerequisites for the SCCM co-management, I'm talking about that we should be the administrator should be a full administrator on SCCM, and at the same time he should be the global administrator on the Azure tenant. So once both the things are there, then only the configuration can be done. Now we are ready for the demo. Let's start. Before jumping to the configuration of co-management, let me show you that I have logged on to the Azure portal, and here I can see the device client 1 and client 2 both are Microsoft Entra Hybrid Join. So it means my Microsoft Entra connector configuration and the thing is already in place. So if I go to the Intune portal, I don't see the client 1. So in Azure portal, I can see client 1 and client 2, but in Intune, I don't see the device. So what I'm trying to do is that my configuration for SCCM Co-management is done, I will be able to see the client one. I'm going to focus on the client one. That device will be enrolled to Intune, and we can also apply few workload, and I can show you that how those workloads are applied, and we can do the verification now. I'm into the SCCM console. The very first thing is I would like to verify the client settings. That should be a first step. Go to the client settings. I have a default client settings. If I go to the cloud services, I need to verify that automatically register new Windows 10 or later domain joined devices with Azure Active Directory or Microsoft Entra ID is enabled. Yes. So by default, I believe it is yes. Then there is no need to be worried. And this setting actually can be done via the group policy also. So either of the settings is fine. Just we need to make sure that this setting is enabled. We can confirm it is set to yes. Second thing is, now I'm going to prepare the few workload collections, because when I'm going to do the configuration for the co-management, I need to have those collections ready for the workload. Go to device collection, and I'm going to create my first collection. I'm giving the name Intune Pilot Enroll. Let's select the co-management eligible devices collection, which has been created automatically, which evaluates whether your devices are eligible for the co-management. So I can see yes, my two devices, client 1, client 2, both are eligible because of there are few checks which has already been happened, internet connectivity, licenses, those things. So everything looks fine. So I'm just selecting this thing. So just remember this collection, Intune Pilot Enroll. Once my configuration is done, I'm going to add my devices to this collection for the enrollment, but that setting has to be done. Click next, next. Done. I have created a collection, and I have not created any query or something. Usually what we need to do is you need to have some kind of Azure ready group, you need to have a security group, or you need to have a collection query based membership for the laptop, desktop, whatever the is convenient for you. It all depends upon your strategy, what you're planning for, but I'm making things a bit simple. It's an empty collection. I'm going to add the device manually when I need the enrollment. Similarly, I can create other collections as well. As you can see, my all collections are ready. Intune Pilot, client apps, compliance policies. You can see all collections are ready. Now I'm ready for the co-managed configuration. Go to the administration, Cloud Attach, and I'm going to configure the Cloud Attach. Click on Configure Cloud Attach. I need to log on to the Azure tenant via Global Administrator credentials. Click on Sign In. I have now logged in. There are two settings. Use default settings, which looks like the recommended settings by enabling the automatic enrollment for all devices, enabling the endpoint analytics, and uploading means it will do everything, means co-management, endpoint analytics, and tenant attach. It is going to configure everything, but that defeats the purpose of moving away from SCCM to Intune in a single go, right? I would like to go with the customize option so that I can have a better control of specifying my own settings. When I click on customize settings, click on next. So this action is going to register an application into the AAD tenant. Click on continue. Now the very first setting, what you see over here, is for the uploading the devices to the configuration manager. This is not for the enrollment, means any collection, what I'm going to specify over here, those devices will be uploaded to the Intune so that I can initiate the machine policies for the SCCM. But this is still not the co-management. I would say this feature is a tenant attach feature. So why not use the same collection which I use for the enroll? I mean to say, I created a collection Intune Pilot Enroll. So it means when I'm trying to add a device to the Intune Pilot Enroll for the co-manage, it will be also used to upload it for taking the action of SCCM. So I think I can perform both the things for tenant attach and co-manage with this one collection only. So let's click on OK. See, I can use separate collection also, means I can use for tenant attach, I can use all the devices, and for co-manage, for enrolling the devices, different collection. But my choice over here is I would like to go with specific bunch of devices using this collection. Now endpoint analytics also I can enable, and endpoint analytics itself is a very good option which can help analyze your device in a multiple ways, that the readiness of device, the score calculation. There are a lot of things which in Endpoint Analytics can do to analyze your device in terms of providing the telemetry and so many things, right? I'm okay with this option. Let's select this thing. There is no harm. This is a page where actually I'm specifying that which collection should be used to enroll the device. I told you that SCCM can be used, the co-manage feature can be used to enroll the device, right? So this is where I can specify the option. If I click on all Windows workstation devices will be enrolled, right? But that does not make any sense, right? This is going to be a blunder. Why I say blunder? Because I'm not ready. My environment is not ready. I don't want it to go with all enrollment. There might be few surprises, so I need to see the behavior. So slow and steadily I would like to go. So I will not be selecting all. None means I'm not selecting anything. So let's go with the pilot, and I'm going to select the same collection, Intune pilot enroll. Make sense? Click on next. Next. Done. My co-management is enabled. I have specified a collection which will be used for enrolling the device and which will be used as a co-manage. But I have not defined any workload. It did not give me any option. To see this option, I need to again go to, now I can see there is a co-manage settings prod, means the co-management setting has been done. Click on properties. Let's go one by one. So my cloud attach. So the device is now cloud attached because I configured the cloud attach. That has been done. Configure upload. This was more like a tenant attach property where any collection specified over here will be uploaded. It is not responsible for enrolling. Enablement. This specific tab is responsible for enrolling a device. I have specified pilot, and yes, Intune pilot enroll collection has been used. Right now there is no device. This is the workload. Currently, every workload is set to configuration manager. So it means what it means. If I add any, I am coming to the enablement. If I add any device to this collection, what will happen? It will get enrolled automatically. It will be enrolled to Intune. We can see the device in Intune. We can take the SCCM configuration manager, machine policy, initiation, and those kind of actions we can take because of tenant attach also we have enabled. But we will not be able to deploy anything via Intune because we have made sure that all those workloads are currently set to SCCM, means SCCM is taking control of everything. Okay, now let's see the first workload, compliance policies. If I move the slider exactly to the Intune and click on apply OK, what will happen? Every compliance policy will be taken care by the Intune. Similarly, if I go with the Windows update policies, all devices will start getting the updates, quality updates, feature update via Intune. SCCM is going to lose the control. But this is not we want, because the main specific purpose of workload is go slow and steadily. So rather than going with complete configuration manager or complete Intune, take it to the center, pilot Intune. So when you go to the slider to the center, it gives you the option to specify a collection. See, for compliance policies, I have selected pilot Intune. See the impact. Go to staging. Now I can see the compliance policy is asking you to select a collection. Let me select the collection, Intune pilot compliance policies. Make sense? I think it is clear to you now. The compliance policy workload, I have specified a collection. If I add the device to this collection, that device will start getting the compliance policies via Intune also. I mean to say, I can target compliance policies via Intune. At the same time, you can see all other collections are showing as disabled. Why? Because the workload is set to configuration manager. So we are not allowing you for Intune to take control of the workload. So let's do one thing. Change for everything to the pilot Intune. Done. Click on staging. Now I have to specify the collection for each workload. It makes sense to specify collection for each workload because it gives you a good control. It gives you a good control to specify a device. It provides a good control so that you can add each device to specific collection or workload. That's the reason we created those workload. I'm going to specify it right now. Done. I have specified all the workload collections. Workloads are set to pilot Intune. Staging is showing all the collections. Enablement is showing Intune pilot enroll, and it will be uploaded via the tenant attach feature. Looks okay. Click on OK. Done. My configuration for the co-management and workload has been done. Let me enroll my first device to Intune. Let me enroll my first device to Intune. When I go to devices, I can see my first client. My client is client 1. I showed you that this device is already has performed the Microsoft Entra hybrid join. So it means it is still not enrolled. It is still not enrolled and there is no workload applied. I'm going to enroll and apply one workload. Let's go with client apps. I'm adding this to the two collections. Intune pilot enroll. I added, but I have to apply some workload also, just to show you that how the workload will be applied. Add it to another collection. Client apps. Done. This process may take some time, so let me just expedite it. I'm just going to manually update the collection memberships. Intune pilot enroll and client app. Client app showing as 1 device count, enroll is showing as 1 device count, looks okay. Now I can go and log into the client. I have logged on to the Windows 11 device. Let me launch the configuration manager properties. See, when I log into the configuration manager properties, the important thing to verify over here is you can see that co-management capabilities is showing as 8193 and co-management disabled. So it means currently the co-management, the device is not enrolled, the device is not co-managed, it is showing as disabled. And this co-management capability 8193, it's a default number, means any device will be showing this 8193. There is a table which shows about the co-management numbers, that if I apply a specific workload, it will change that number. This is the table which you can see. I have created a blog post. I will be providing the link to this blog post in the description below. You can have a look that I have provided all the information related to the workload. So by default, it is 8193. If compliance policy workload number is 2, resource access is 4, and others are having 8, 16, 4128, 64, 128, right? So I added a device to the client app workload. So by default is 8193 and client app is 64. So what I would be expecting is 8193 plus 64, that value, addition of that value will be shown over here, and the co-management will be changing to enabled. Let me initiate the machine policy, because by default it takes 1 hour to get the policy. To expedite the thing, go to actions, machine policy, run now. Meanwhile, I can verify whether the policy has arrived or not. Yes, I can see the few activities has happened: rules applied, evaluation complete, policy download succeed. Yeah, the things are looking good. I can verify the co-management handler. This process might take some time, so you have to be patient just to perform those activities. Because in a big environment, these things can take couple of hours also, because when you are having the security groups, adding something over there, then the Azure AD Connect sync happening, your collection membership changing, a lot of things are there. Here I did everything manually, right, by updating the collection membership, but that will not be case in the real scenario. I can see the things has performed. You remember that the capability was showing as 8193. It seems like the merging workload to 8257. Previously it was 8193. So it means the process has been kicked in, but still the enrollment process might take some time. We have to wait for a couple of minutes. Let me try to open the configuration manager properties again. Yes, this time I can see co-management capabilities has been changed. It is showing as 8257 and co-management is showing as enabled. So the device looks like got enrolled into Intune, and the workload has also applied. To verify whether the workload has been applied correctly or not, there is another thing for the verification. Go to the configuration. For every workload, there is a baseline created for it. Even for the Intune enrollment setting, there is a baseline. So the first workload I can see, the very first baseline is co-managed settings pilot auto enroll. So this baseline has been applied and showing as compliant, means the auto enroll, it worked. Similarly, the second one is the client app. Yes, it is also showing as compliant, and this is the default one, co-managed settings prod. So these two things were important. The moment I had to apply more workload, there will be two things to check: the co-managed capabilities, that number is going to increase, and the configuration. Here you can see the more baselines related to that specific workload. I can verify the same thing into the Intune console as well. Let's have a look. I'm into Intune console. Let's go to devices, Windows. I will be waiting for a couple of minutes. After waiting for a couple of minutes, I can see the client one has been displayed in Intune console. So it means the client one is enrolled, and you can see the managed by, it is showing as co-managed. See, I have another device, AULT-832, which was built via the autopilot. It was purely a Microsoft Entra joint device, so that's why it is not showing as co-managed. So it is completely purely managed by the Intune, but the client one, which is the domain joint device, it is showing as co-managed. And for the compliance and other things, I can see it is managed via Config Mgr. If I would have changed the workload for the I would have changed the workload for compliance policy to Intune for this device, it should have shown as Intune. Let's click on that client one. Have a look. The Intune managed workloads, the last option. I have applied one workload. So the compliance is showing as Config Mgr, while the Intune managed workload, one workload has been applied, one single workload.